welcome to another Minecraft thing. I'm joined today, as you can see in the background, WhateverJenn. I did say many moons ago that we'd do a tour and show her impressive builds. So that's what we're going to do today.
Ah, shucks. Impressive.
This is where spawn, I've changed spawn since the last tour video, but this is spawn, and you joined in a few months after us. We had already built like a lovely cobblestone thing that you love back there.
Oh, you're a big fan of cobblestone.
Yeah. So we had already built that sort of stuff, and you joined in and you just wanted to get to your own spot, and you went miles away.
Well, yeah, because the render distance back then was 14 blocks. We're on PS4. So I just kind of went over a few hills, and it did feel like I'd gone miles, but it's really not very far at all.
No, it's just over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll head over there.
Okay.
The villa.
Yeah, the villa. So this is the villa. As you see, like spawn is literally just like about 50 blocks that way. And then this is the villa. So it started from, there's a pool that was surrounded by sand, and I was like, that's cool. That looks like, I had no experience with Minecraft at this point, so I didn't really know what blocks to use or anything at all.
Yeah.
And there was this little pool.
That's
down
why we
here.
like cobblestone building behind us.
Yeah. It came to be large. As you see, this wall that runs all the way around is now the villa estate. But it wasn't like that at first. It was just down here. This pool was literally the first thing that I built. It did not look like that. It was just sand all the way around, and I made it a square, and I was like, that's so cool. It looks like marble, and then I really got over that.
That's the cactus heads, isn't it?
Cactus flowers,
Yes.
Yep, on green glass. My latest innovation. I was very proud of, and I'm sure other people have done it before, but I came to the conclusion myself, and I was really proud of my design. Anyway, so this used to be one house, which was this section. It was built out of this diorite, polished diorite, and then this whole villa has got like a massive lore story to it. Do you want me to go into that?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So it started off obviously channeling the Roman villa. So it was big and like as you see. Mind you, it was built out of dirt to begin with, but it was meant to be big and Roman inspired. And then I moved some villagers in, and the villagers overtook it, and so it became like like there had been a revolution, and the emperor had been killed, and the people had taken over the villa. And so then there was lots of modifications that I made for their access, particularly over in this section, which I haven't touched for a while. You can see some weird staircases and stuff. That was all just to allow the villagers to get very directly to their rooms and their beds. But after a while, that got out of hand. There was way too many villagers, and it was just a nightmare. They were forever getting stuck and not able to get where they needed to get to. So I moved them all out, and I did move them all out. I didn't murder them. I don't like to murder villagers.
Who would murder villagers?
Huh?
Who would murder the villagers?
You. Anyway, so I moved them out and I reclaimed it as a villa. But when I did that, I just did a bit of a rush job on it. So this half over in this direction, that's still as it was before, but this half I have just recently redone, okay, as in the last week. So it's kind of half and half, the old style post-revolution, and then this is some rich aristocratic person has come along board it and is refurbishing it, starting at this end and working through. So that's the law. So it started off, as I say, as one little shack back that way, and then there was this bay over here, which I thought was quite cool, and there was kind of a sheer wall here of rock, stone rather. So I thought, in the Emperor's day, this was like a private beach, and so I kind of developed it like that. and I made no plans. I never make plans. I just sort of freestyle and see what happens. And it consequently is a mess. There's bits and pieces everywhere. Nothing really makes any sense. This was the first. This room was like the first actual room after the little hut that I built, and then I just slowly expanded back into it, and the rooms got bigger. Obviously, well, I mean, not obviously, but this used to be just filled with beds. All of the rooms were just beds lining the walls. It was a bit crazy. But they'd had a revolution, and then there was a people's commune here, and so they had just very basic amenities, if you can call them that, i.e. a bed each and a pot plant each, and that was it. But yeah, so once I cleared all that out, I kind of tried to tidy it up a bit, but there's no fixing the logic of how this is built. So for example, this is the downstairs. To get up to my bedroom, here's my bedroom, or the Emperor's bedroom, and as you see, it's gold. I've got 2 cats called Mittens, a pair of mittens. I've also got a third mittens down in the house downstairs, which is funny, so I've got 3 mittens. Anyway, so this is the main bedroom. Now, when I built this was you could not see the land over that way. You couldn't see it. It was just ocean. And it was just ocean out this window too. Built this pyramid one night. Most of it was built in one night, and then it had a big gap in it, which was like facing in this direction. So I got, in my own house, I had this view of a pyramid with a giant hole in it, and it was like that for ages.
Yeah, I finished that.
Yeah, I was pretty sure you did end up being the one to finish it. Anyway, so like I say, the logic of the building, there isn't any. It just is quite weird in that way, because I've just, in an ad hoc basis, added rooms, and like there's a lot of things like this. There's just that goes down to where we were, to the, in inverted commas, beach. So yeah, it's quite a strange building, inescapably. So yeah, that's the villa.
Basically, the design when you started. So
yeah, it was my first big build, although it was never intended to be a big build. It just kind of became one. Just as I added bits and pieces. And then after I'd finished building it in the first place, it was mostly built out of diorite and dirt, as I say, I came back and I rebuilt it in terracotta and granite. And I've gone off granite since then, so now I have a problem and I need to deal with all the granite.
Yeah,
but
I
anyway,
don't like granite. I don't know many people that do like granite.
Yeah, it can look good as context. So just in this last week, I've refurbished all of this area, just making it grand again, because like I said, an aristocrat has bought it and he's going to entertain his highfalutin friends. And yeah, just a simple interior with a beautiful view, now that you can actually see the land on the other side. Yeah, and conveniently, that's where we're going next, over that way.
Cool. So I want to we'll go to the vanilla seed shore first.
Yep.
And then we'll come back to the realm to show how much it's changed.
Okay.
All right.
No worries.
Let's go then.
This is where it started.
Yes.
This is the pond that beguiled me to start building, if you can believe it.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that this is the thing that made you start.
This is the thing that went, yeah, I want to build a villa here. Literally just this. That is what made me want to build the villa. Before we had enough render distance to see the shore, so I couldn't see the shore at all. I thought this was an ocean. And then one day I just decided to build a bridge of cobblestone, actually, just across the water to see what was on the other side, because I didn't have a boat and I was stupid and didn't realize I could swim. So I built a bridge across. So I kind of landed on this side, just sort of here-ish, and then headed over this way. And it was when I got to about here, as soon as I could see the mountain came into render, I built. Why is the shipwreck in the sky? Anyway,
See that?
that was not there. It was in the sea. But yeah, there's as soon as the mountain came into render, I saw this little bit up here, and I was like, I must turn this into a house. That was like literally my first thought. This must be a house because it's kind of squarish, and I thought that would be cool, just having a house up here. The mountain looked very
Definitely
different to this. This is a chunk load error. So the rest of it, I mean, it was sheer on this side, but not quite like this. It wasn't as sort of wind-eaten as this one is here. It did have a gap, but it wasn't quite like this, but it doesn't matter. This bit up here is what inspired me to start, and I was just going to build a house at the top of the hill. So yeah, I came around this way, and I'll show you when we get to the mountain hall, but the way I got up there the first time was up this way, up this side, and I've actually maintained the stairway in exactly the same place where I first climbed the mountain. I don't know why, I just did. So yeah, this is what inspired me. I was like, yes, I must build here. I must build a little cottage here. And in fact, so part of it's granite. And so the original house, and in fact, I think even now the house is mostly granite. I might have changed it, but it was entirely granite. It was just like a granite box. And and then I was sort of quarrying into the mountain to get resources, and that's how it ended up just going mental. And after I built this, I thought I am never going to do another mega build, and not a mega build, but a big build, and it just never played out like that.
Yeah, it never does.
But yeah.
All right, we'll see what it turned into. The dramatic reveal. Okay, so we'll try and do the proper transition. We'll do this. I'll do this seamlessly. It'll look perfect. I bet.
Yeah, of course.
Just looking at the coordinates as well. 454 minus 139. All right, we'll try and do this. This is not going to work, is it?
No.
No.
It is still.
Yeah. Oh, fancy. So yeah, that looks massively different.
Yeah, it completely hollowed it out, completely rebuilt it. There's pretty much not a stone left unturned on the whole island, and it is an island. Including this causeway, I dug out a lot of sand. This has gone through multiple iterations. It is now finished. I'm not doing anything. Theoretically, I am not doing anything more to Mountain Hall. Yeah, so this came about because I came more or less, as I say, I came from that direction. And then I came wandering along. I was like, I must build this. And then eventually, I kind of started exploring the in-between, which led me to the next build, which I was never going to do because I was like, this is my forever home. I said that multiple times. But yeah, anyway, so it just kind of, this was somewhat like the villa. It started off, as I say, as the little house up on the hill there that's covered with the crates. And yes, I see that it is still mostly granite.
Yes.
And I built, as I say, I was quarrying out the mountain for resources, and I ended up building a stairway that went down the other side of the building, and it just kind of went on from there. I would dig a bit out, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool view. And so then I'd, put some windows in, and it just evolved from there. This little building on the left, the brown one, is probably the most recent addition. That's the gardener's house. As you'll see, I've really intensively gardened around this place because it's a contained space. So that made it a lot easier to just make little sections and then develop them for landscape purposes. So yeah, anyway, so that's the gardener's house. And then the hall itself, we should probably start at the front door. This is the front approach. There are multiple doors into Mountain Hall, but I eventually decided it needed a proper front door because it is an aristocratic, vast hall. So I built the front door, and then more recently, as in the last year, decided I needed to properly landscape, do some custom trees, make some custom landscapes, really go in on plant selection and all that stuff. So I'm quite proud of how this turned out. So this is coming from the direction of a bunch of fields in there over that way, and this is the arboretum with all the trees, and there's just stuff all the way around. But so mostly I'm down that way if I'm in the area. So this is why it's the front approach. Anyway, we come through here, and I was like channeling kind of Italy. That's why I've got pencil pines and poppies. I felt like, having been to Italy, that's kind of something that I saw there that I really liked. And then I divided it into little sections. So as I say, there's that bit which is really rocky. You've got rocks coming through the grass and stuff. And then you've got with this direction, see some of my custom trees, which I based on mallee trees, which are Australian trees. And yeah, just went kind of crazy with that. Made it a sunflower field. Placed every single piece of grass. It was an arduous task. And then over this way, there's another bit of garden, which is the water garden, which is the blue theme. You can see the barn over in the distance. I really like this view. It's one of my favorite views of the barn over there. Anyway, and this is the main entrance garden. So from this point, you look up at Mountain Hall. This is the technical front. I've got nesting birds in that tree too. Anyway, so up this way. As I say, I'm like just really going for grand. I just want it to look quite grand. Again, multiple iterations, changed the block choices multiple times. It's just been an ongoing process. This is the main entryway, and you can see the map of all the development that I've done here. Up there. As you see, it is an island, and yeah, so this is sort of a lot of the rooms in Mountain Hall are just spaces. They're not. I haven't done a lot of interiors for the bigger rooms because I just think, you know, maybe it's a ballroom, maybe it's where people come and they have parties and soirees. So they stand around and servants bring them food on little trays, or you know, that kind of thing. Obviously, the glow bearers would be a bother. Never mind.
Well, right through them, it's fine.
This is one of the like little rooms that I like. I think of them as like suites. So there's a suite where you've got like a seating area, so you can have business meetings. You've got your bedroom here. Some of them have balconies or outdoor spaces. This one doesn't. This one has an adjoining library where there are in fact librarians and one weaponsmith. For some reason, I think he interloped. Anyway, this Mountain Hall also used to be overrun by villagers, and I had to move them out. They were getting lost on the multiple levels. They couldn't track their beds. It was a whole thing. There are quite a few like just back rooms that are nothing much. But anyway, we'll go upstairs because downstairs is where the villagers are at. It's a bit boring. So this is the Hall of Columns.
I can see where you got the title from.
Yeah, but I just like finding uses for the big spaces is really quite difficult. But in just about every level has its little bedroom suite adjoining, and I'd had to pick up the beds because of the villagers. But I really like the views from the windows, so a lot of like the gardening that I did is about capturing cool views from the windows. So that's part of the reason that I have these rooms, so that I can look out and go, oh yeah, I need to put a tree there or whatever. Yeah, anyway, I like doing that. So this is the orange level. I think there's 12 levels altogether in Mountain Hall.
Yep, not normal for a mountain that's been carved out.
Yeah, about 12. This is the red level, which you can probably tell why.
No idea.
And yeah,
please
so,
let us know in the comments why you think this is called the Red Room.
Yeah, have a guess. And as I say, always like a bedroom suite with a bed. This one's got a bed, which is nice. This has got a cool view out over the gardener's house and the tropical garden, in inverted commas.
And the pyramid, you can see the pyramid.
Oh, probably. I didn't look. I try not to look at it. And this is the watermelon room. Like, I try to make everyone quite different. Oh, I see the pyramid. But yeah, so yeah, each level's got its little bedroom. This is the brick level. You would never guess why. I really like this room. It's one of the cozier feeling rooms, and it did used to have couches and stuff. I can't remember why I took those out. I think I just got walking over them. It's like we're just in the middle. And then, oh, if we want to go up from there, we have to go to the other side. This is the other convoluted thing about Mountain Hall, is there's 2 stairways, and one stairway leads one place and the other stairway leads another. This is the archways level. Again, this has archways, and this has the balcony, the big balcony, which has full views out of the Maritime Villa, which is in this direction, and the garden, which I'll get to. That's like one of my favourite parts, is actually looking back at the Mountain Hall from that side. But yeah, just lots of I don't know what the word is, just revisiting, tweaking, changing, adding, taking away.
You said you were finished.
I am. It's done. All right, and so we're up on the top level now, more or less. And then up here is the original house from when I started building here. I have these ideas, and then I go a little bit mental with them. But you know, I've got a lot of space to do it in, a lot of space to fill. So, but the house itself, did I just slam the door in your face?
Yep.
So yeah, this is the original house, and pretty much as I built it, I have changed the interiors, but yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. It's a box with a great view of the pyramid from here, and the Maritime Villa out that way, and yeah, it's, you know, it has a great view. That's my living area at the top there, and the rest of it is, you know, house. This is that stairway I said I've maintained from the original when I first climbed up. This is exactly where I climbed all the way to the top, and this goes all the way to the bottom, including into the tunnels, because there's more rooms underground.
Oh, of course. Because yeah, just hauling out a massive mountain wasn't enough. You had to go underground as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, it was a quarry, so there was already rooms kind of made. So these are the tunnels, and there's all kinds of interesting rooms down here.
They're just having a dance party.
They don't have a dance party. The greenhouse, where there's one of every kind of plant, theoretically. I've got them all. And then if we come out here and we climb up. So this is from this side. I really love this view. This took so much work. I can't even tell you. They're all custom trees, except for the ones on the top, obviously. And just doing a bit, coming back, looking at everything is just placed on purpose. It took, I don't know, a week or 2, I think, to do. Including all of the trees out towards this, out towards the barn, putting in all the paths, just everything, really. Rebuilding certain portions of the Maritime Villa, all of this underground stuff. Anyway, there was a lot. It was a lot. That anybody held a gun to my head and told me I had to do it, but you know, it was work. But I do love how it came out so winning in the end. Yeah, that's Mountain Hall, I guess.
It's still very impressive. Like especially when you see the original, how it was. This, like,
very similar. Come on.
Oh yeah. I'm sure everybody will agree. So I recommend to hollow out a mountain and build a house, several houses.
I don't recommend it. It was, and I should have mentioned, I did all of that with iron pickaxes because
back in the day,
we didn't use enchantments. And we didn't know, we knew about diamonds, but we couldn't afford it because we didn't know about mending. So we used to just use iron pickaxes because it was too expensive to use diamond, only to be able to repair them like 2 or 3 times. So yeah, we did it with iron. So iron is slow, and without being enchanted, it breaks so fast. I can't even imagine trying to do that now. I just wouldn't even. I wouldn't even. That's why when I finished it, I was like, I'm never doing a big build again. I'm never hollowing out anything again, which I have done. So that was a lie. Yeah, it just was such a task. But yeah, the results I think are good. So it was worth it in that way. But I don't recommend it. Especially not with iron pickaxes that are unenchanted. Do you have any questions?
Which part of the build is your favourite?
Good question. I think it's the guard, like the guard. You want to know about the actual build?
No, like the whole, because it's the whole place.
I think it's just the garden. It's the garden down this way. I mean, all of the gardens I really love. I put a lot of time and effort into them. But I think it's this garden here. I really love this particular view. This whole garden is fantastic in my opinion. But yeah, this view is like, it's one of my favorites. Every time I come around this corner, I'm like, hell yeah. And it's a very simple thing, but it took a lot of doing, a lot of tweaking to get the sight lines right and the trees the right size and colours good and everything working together. Yeah.
Now, a lot of these blocks you've used as like the original stuff from when we started playing.
Yeah.
With the new add-ons and stuff.
Yeah.
Would you change any of them, add in some new ones?
I think I've come through and recently added in like the firefly bushes and the actual bushes, which is recent. I'm not shy about changing stuff that I make. I'm firmly for, if you don't like it, change it, even if it was the first thing you built. Like, just get rid of it if you don't like it.
Yeah, I've changed several of my builds.
Yeah,
as well.
So especially with the gardens, every time a new plant comes out, I'll go around and I'll put it where I think it needs to go. So in some ways, it's kind of like an ongoing thing. If they were to release a new yellow flower, for example, or something that was primarily yellow, I'd probably come through and stick a few in here just because it belongs here. If they did, if they did some kind of tweak with red flowers, I'd probably put a new red flower in here, that kind of thing. So yeah, I add stuff as it comes along. But yeah, so when the new blocks come out for the
those blocks.
Well, you want to call them that. I had a look at them. It's a good sulfur color, that yellow, and I think the red will be useful. So I might be able to put the red into the build somewhere. But yeah, anyway, we'll see what else there is to play with. But yeah, the only thing I would say is like the stone. You'll see as we go on, there's a lot of just plain stone all around the place. That's generally a stand-in for until I find something better that I can include, that I like more. For example, the knob at the top of Mountain Hall here is just stone, and I don't particularly like it, but yeah, if something good comes along, maybe these red blocks will work for that. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's how I feel about new blocks. If they're useful, I'll use them. If they're not, I don't care. Fine.
Right, now as it's raining,
yep,
we'll head off to Sacred Mountain. Mystic Mountain. Yeah, that's wrong.
Mystic Mountain.
Very wrong. Right, we'll head off. Yeah, so we'll go to a spot in the vanilla seed and do the same thing, and then we'll come back to the realm to show what it's turned into. This is Sacred Mountain. Yeah,
so Mountain Hall is behind us, directly behind us. I set out from there one day. This was kind of the wilderness, in my mind, beyond, because as I say, Mountain Hall was my forever home. I was never going to move from there. But I was exploring, which, it sounds silly, but when you've only got 14 blocks render, this feels like an incredibly long way, all the way to the mountain over in that direction. So anyway, I set out, I started making roads, obsessed with making roads. I make a lot of roads. And so I made a road in this direction. and it led me to the Sacred Mountain, which is, as you see, the ground, take note, is absolutely jacked. It was building a road through here, and you've had a sense already that this is all developed. It does not look like this at all. In fact, it's very difficult to tell it's the same place. And so I came upon this mountain, and the first thing I did was steal that coal up there. I distinctly remember being, oh, coal. And then I came along the front here, and I thought it was cool that this end is not Savannah, because I had mostly been building in Savannah prior to that point, besides Mountain Hall. Everywhere I went was Savannah. So this was my first encounter with something that wasn't Savannah. And this rock arch is cool. And so I decided to build a little house. So I had a little house in this nook here. And then I slowly I made a path down to this pond, which became the water garden. But again, because the render distance was lousy, I couldn't tell that there was a ring of mountains here until I explored further and cleared out this central section, and then slowly disclosed that there was in fact this big. And I thought that was cool. But like, one of my first thoughts was, because of this rock arch and the shape up there, I was like, I'm going to build a temple at the top of this. I don't know precisely why this hill spoke to me of temple, but it just told me it needed a temple. And so that's where I built the first temple at the Sacred Mountain, giving it its name. And then I basically worked my way around this way. I cleared the center. Ecological disaster, removed all the trees, put in a massive lake, one depth, of course, because I was lazy in those days or didn't really think about it. And then, slowly developed a pathway that went around, and then just like everything, I was never going to build a house here besides the little hut. I don't really know what I imagined I was going to do with it if I wasn't going to build here, but anyway, claimed it for my own, but with no intentions of doing anything, and it has become my forever home. Mountain Hall is finished. I don't go there very often, apart from to appreciate my gardens, and also because I'm working further down that way, so it's a good halfway point between here and there. But anyway, so this is what I started with.
Yeah, and it's a bit hard to see like what your vision was, because like I've seen what it turns into, and it's insane that this.
What, you don't look at this and think,
no,
I will make it into that.
No, not at all. So,
I can't imagine why not.
Yeah.
But see, like, all of my projects are like that. I just get to a place and I go, this is cool. But like, with Mountain Hall, it possessed me immediately, like, I'm going to build a house here. But here wasn't like that. I had this little hut built in the rock arch for a long time before I eventually was like, maybe I'll clear out the middle and put in sheep fields. And that is what was here, a sheep paddock. And for a long time, that's what there was. And then I was like, all these mountains, they need some waterfalls. So I put in waterfalls. And then once I had the waterfalls in, I was like, yeah, I need to do some landscaping around those because they just look untidy. And I'll put a lake in at the bottom so they can all gather in the lake. And you just like progress one step at a time. And it's, wildly different now. Looking at it is crazy. Because again, it's like Mountain Hall. I don't look at the seed of Mountain Hall and think, yeah, I want to build a house at the top of that mountain. Like, the urge is not there. Neither do I look at this and think, yeah, this should be the Sacred Mountain. But it step by step became really, it made sense to me anyway.
Yeah.
To develop it as I went.
Yeah, same with like my latest thing. Like,
yeah. You just kind of get one idea after another, and it leads to a whole picture.
Yeah. So, might as well show everybody what you've created.
Okay.
Well, let's go back.
Okay. So here we are. I left Mountain Hall, which is behind us, and ahead of us is the Sacred Mountain. So I'm going to mention it, even though Shadow told me not to. Here are my fields. Behold my fields. There are many fields. The fields took me months and months and months to plant, with wheat and carrots, flowers. It took a long time. Everything has turned into fields. And in the middle of the field is Woolville on the left, which is one of my favorite towns that I've built, if not my favorite. I just love it. And if you remember what this ground was like in the seed, Nightmare Fuel, yeah, just smoothing everything out, filling all the gaps, getting the villagers in, getting the sheep in, like all of it was a task. And has nothing on the fields, but you also then see the Sacred Mountain in the distance. And my thinking was that the Sacred Mountain is the heart. It's the heart of the region. It's religious, pagan, that is, not Christian. It's like the center in the same way that the monasteries used to be the center during medieval times, was my thinking. So there's lots of little houses and stuff like Carrot Hill over here. There's the Pink House over in that direction. There's another handful of farms and houses and stuff along the river. Like the idea being that everyone is kind of around the Sacred Mountain because that's where people come to trade. They come to, at the Fisherman's Village, there'll be a market one day. It hasn't been built yet. So that was my thinking, is that everything comes, it's the heart of their region. So yeah, this is kind of that mountain that I said. It needed a temple for some reason in my brain. So that was the first temple that I built. It's almost exactly as it was when I first built it. Hello, gods! They hear us! Yeah, so that's the temple to Dawn, actually. And then I made the shrine to the 3 springs, and yeah, all of this took forever. For a long time, this was just a raw, auto-generated mountain with a temple on the top and some springs over here. None of this landscaping had been done. It was very basic. To get in, I used to go through the rock arch, descent, where the little hut used to be. I have removed it since then. Or we're going to be in the rain too, because it always rains here. It rains a lot, which I guess is just the contrast to having like played in savannah for so long. It's really striking how much it rains in the jungle and the forest biomes. Anyway, so yeah, the little hut used to be up here, right here. I removed it a year or two ago, and very dramatic.
It is, isn't it? It works well with the Sacred Mountain.
And as I said to you, there was that little pond, and I sort of developed downwards into the little pond. It has been developed quite a lot since then. It became the water garden, which has now got tropical fish in it. It used to have axolotls, but then I started breeding frogs here, and axolotls would kill frogs. So I had to move the axolotls, and so I traded them for fish. So yeah, this is sort of in the lore, the most ancient part of the Sacred Mountain. This is sort of the original sacred place, if you like. And then everything that came after is in layers. As I've explained to Shadow before, there is the reason that it looks like this, where it's like parts missing and stuff, is because it is a ruin, partially a ruin that's been put back together by successive generations. So some parts are in better condition than others. The idea was to make a sacred, what do you call it?
Mountain.
No, well, yeah. But no, like a processional way, that's it. Which was, in the Iron Age, they had processional ways where they built big, like, raised platforms that went for, like, miles and miles, in England, that is. So yeah, it was kind of that concept, but done very differently. So there's a path that goes pretty much all the way around. And just to point out the order in which I made all of this. So this, as I say, was the first temple. I then built the processional way over to that section pretty much. And then this part that we're standing on, I started this stuff at this end and worked my way around. So as I get around to sort of that side, I've reached a peak of detail. On this side, it's a little simpler, which I don't mind because we are starting at the start. I'm also very keen on maps. I make a lot of maps. And there's a flock of birds here. So here we are in the map room. Here is the map of the Sacred Mountain in all its glory, recently updated. I intend to do the full island. I've got quite a way to go.
Where we
there.
are there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in this little brown square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where we came in from.
Yeah, so that's the original temple there. We came in. This is the high road to Mountain Hall here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, we'll work our way around. So yeah, and then this is this is a map of the whole region. So we are here up in this corner.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this covers about 5,000 square blocks, maybe a bit more. This way, we're getting near home for me. My house is just up ahead. You get quite a good view of the interior here. So on the left is my cactus farm, reasonably sized cactus farm.
Nope.
Which is attached to my house. Beyond, you see the giant birch tree. The funny thing about the birch tree is because I was watching Hermitcraft, and everyone was just talking down about birch, and I like birch trees. As you'll see, that I keep a lot of them around the place, and so I, out of imagine spite, because nobody cares, but I built this giant birch tree. So it's the sacred birch tree. There is a sacred circle of birch trees behind it, which we'll get to. The giant birch, which I really like, but boy, when I was building it, I thought this was a mistake. But yeah, I like it. I can't imagine taking
out of spite.
Made out of spite, yeah. For people who hate birch. It's silly, and it's not the most pretty thing ever built, but you know, I love it, so it stays. You can go up into it as well. You may know there's a door in there, but there's nothing up there, so don't do that. Anyway, here's the sacred circle with all the candles and a cat so the creepers don't explode it.
There were mittens.
It's not Mitten.
It is mittens.
I know, Mitten's number 4. You know, because I made a bunch of name tags and named all of them Mittens, so there was just many Mittens. Anyway, this is my favourite temple up here, which is the Mountain God. And yeah, if we come up, this has gone. This was like everything. I should stop saying this, but it's gone through many iterations. He's the god of essentially the mountain, but of mining and tools and like metal work, that kind of anything involving ores or whatever you can dig out of the mountain. He's the god of that. So yeah, I really like this temple. It is it's different to anything else I've built. You think just the shape of it with the pointy roof and stuff. So I like the armor stand. Yeah. Also, if you look back this way, you can see the extent of my fields. Get some sense of them anyway.
Yeah, they're not all loading in.
Are they not? No, they don't. They never do, but they are planted. This was all made real early on, so I am in the process of refreshing a lot of stuff. As Shadow knows, I recently redid this mountain and a whole bunch of stuff out the side, which I'll show you after this. So it's odd. There's basalt on that side and there's oak on that side. It looks a bit weird. I will change that. But yeah, it's just progress, one thing at a time. So the next temple on the roster, so to speak.
Roster.
Yeah. You know.
On schedule.
On the processional way is the Temple of the God of Death and Night.
I really like how you use the lights in this one.
Yeah, so this one, right, it's here because this corner of the loop of the sacred mountain is savanna. And so it looks dead in comparison to everything else. I was like, oh, that's perfect. So that's why it's here. And I've got the light coming in. The presence of the god is with us.
Patches.
Sorry?
Patches.
Oh yeah, there's Patches in here. Is there a mittens?
No, doesn't have a name.
A nameless and Patches. Okay. So yeah, this is a different style of temple, and historically a type of temple that was built with a hole in the ceiling so that the gods could view what you were doing. And I was like, well, if I'm going to build one of those, I'm going to have the moonlight coming in, which is what these end rods are symbolizing. Yeah, and then obviously I just feel like sculpt suits that because it's kind of like stars. It's pretty sinister. So yeah, that's why I've put that in. So this is the other temple. This is where I honor my dead pets, of which there are many. There were deaths by creeper, deaths by minecart, deaths by suffocation in walls. Like, horrendous. As you see, it's getting quite full in there, and I think I'm going to have to extend the but I've also got better at not killing them because they kind of trail off in 24. It's been a little while since I've lost anybody. But yeah, the idea being that you come and you make an offering when you're going to start a new farm, which obviously I started a lot of farms. Or this is where you come to honor your fallen pets. And yeah, as you see, there's been especially Rando Parrot.
Yes.
Poor Rando Parrot.
Yes.
But this was the worst pet experience of my life. On the 12th of January, I lost 3 dogs to 1 creeper explosion. Horrendous. And the colours on here reflect the colours of their collars. It was a bad day. And same with Rolling Diamond. When Rolling Diamond, one of my favourite horses, died. And that's why it says woe on there, because there was woe that day. Don't kill my parrot.
I wasn't.
You got your sword out while you're looking at my parrot.
Okay, carry on.
Why you got to add to it? Little guy, don't worry, I'll protect you. Anyway, so that is the temple to Marield, who is the goddess of agriculture, and animal husbandry. So yeah, that's all of the temples. You wanted to go and have a look over this away?
Yeah.
Okay. Wings engaged. That's the city over there of Genjaminopolis. What I named it. That this is the main direction from whence I come these days. And so yeah, as you see, this has changed quite a lot from the original. This is where you can see the decayed part next to the more recently rebuilt. This tower, the third one from the left, has scaffolding on it, in inverted commas scaffolding, because it's being rebuilt at the moment. It's that in process thing of like there's some that are fallen down and being rebuilt, and the one on the left of the path is fallen down and they haven't started rebuilding that yet. That was kind of what I was going for. Some of my favorite building, actually, I really like Deep Slate in this biome. I think it looks really good. As I've said before, black tends to be associated with evil, but I don't intend there to be any evil going on here. It's just highlight of stone with the color palette. From here you can see I recently rebuilt this mountain, or dressed it with basalt and stone. You doing whizzies? Yeah, so all of this has fallen down, and it's just implying that this colonnade over here actually continued on all the way around, and it's kind of just to emphasize that this is a work in progress. I'm obviously not going to change it any more than it's already. I'm not touching this part of it again. I'm really happy with how it is, and as you see, it does look decayed. There's holes above. Yeah, like that was just the intention, to make it look really old and tumble down, and somebody has, looked after the parts they can look after, but then others have been left to fall down. So I like that feeling of, well, the law, it kind of plays into the law. It's a feeling of layers of occupation. Yeah. That was the intention. Yeah. But yeah. Do you have any questions about any of that?
So this one's like got a lot of parts that are, say, old and damaged and everything, which Mountain Hall doesn't have. Would you implement that part of the build into other builds with like the damaged parts of it and stuff?
I mean, yeah, maybe. At the moment, the villa, for example, the landscape outside the villa has been utterly like wiped out. I took out everything. I've taken it back to a blank slate. But if that had been a build that I wanted to rebuild, I would potentially, depending on context, keep some parts in, because that would make, to me, it makes it more interesting. It gives it a feeling of it's not just been plonked there. It's kind of got a history. One of my little builds that I've got over yonder is called the Old Inn for the same reason. It's meant to be an inn that's been repurposed into a house. I like that idea of changing use, and I think the villa is the best example that things have been changed in that building because of different usage at the time. I think that just makes it more interesting, but maybe that makes me weird. But yeah, I would definitely do it again if that worked. I guess it's like these towers over this way, which I've just recently built, that go off into the jungle. Here, these are the same as the towers I was just showing you, that where there's the broken down ones, but these ones, none of them are broken down. These are new builds, and
this one.
Yeah, so that's still being built, but it hasn't fallen down and then is being built. It's just being built. So I liked that idea of the people had seen the ones over there from the ancient times and gone, that would be cool if we, like, to symbolize the extended influence of the sacred mountain out into the surrounding hinterland, is the thought process there of, like, we now own this. We're kind of staking a claim to it. We're showing that this is, without building walls around it, it's just kind of making their presence felt. Also, it just looks kind of cool, you know. I just like it. Very simple reasoning. And in this instance, this line of towers closes off, but like delineates the difference between this very, in inverted commas, civilized area with the horse stables and farm and the city beyond and all of the fields, and then beyond this is jungle, and deliberately very dense jungle that is meant to kill you. Basically, it is dangerous to go in there at night. So I might just slip in here and have a little snooze.
I'll get my weapon out.
Just be prepared. You have to walk it because it has that really closed-in feeling. That was at least what I was aiming for. A really limited palette of what I put in by way of plants. The flowers only appear where there's a bit of sun coming through. Oh yeah, this is one of my houses. This is the Cyan house. And if you come up here, you can, the view that I was working from, this is one of my favorite views that I've made. This is looking over towards the tower. So the tower is like an extension of the sacred mountain, hence the stone. All of this was completely barren. It was sparse jungle, so it had like trees or something. And I went through and I just redid everything. I planted all the trees, I planted all the grasses, I did all of the riverbanks, I put in the water lilies again. And this way I built the rock arch. Like, all of this has been done. Everything you see, I placed there. Including the mountains in the distance that are covered in stone, I placed all of that. It's very completely my vision here. And yeah, it's one of my favorite views here. I recently did this. All of this. This is still everything. I did all of this. All of the basalt, all of the stone, all of the planting, all of the grass, all of the flowers. And if you look over to the right, you can see Grassy Knob, which is that single tree on top of the hill. All of that plains out there, and you can just see in the distance the flower farm. Like, I redid all of that landscape. I filled in all the gaps. If we go over that way, you can see I built like valleys with things in. Like, there's a lot over this way. But most of what I've done over this way is landscape. Oh, the cow farm is my favorite.
Yeah, that was insane. Some of the builds you've done are like, I can't believe, like, we've seen what they were to how they've come, and it's insane how much you've done in this world. And definitely it looks more populated than than what I've created. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this.
No worries.
And yeah, I will be going around, hopefully now, with ray tracing on to see what it looks like with that on. I hope you enjoy that. Yeah, thanks for watching, and enjoy the little music video. See you guys.
Toodle pip.